All right. Today is the day after the premiere of Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic, starring Jafar Jackson, which is Jermaine's kid, which is also sibling to Randy's kids. I just found that mess out too. Randy was with Jermaine's now wife first, had two kids. They broke up, and then she got with Jermaine and had two, three more kids. That's another story. But overall, I give this movie a 7 out of 10. Um, Jafar did an excellent job as Michael. I'm not surprised by that at all. He really studied Michael. He can do a little bit better with the dancing, but it was close. It was close. But you can see where it's a little missteps where it's not Michael. He looked like Michael. He sounded like Michael. Amazing. I was mad that they didn't bring the Wiz part in there. I was mad that they didn't bring Diana in there. I'm happy they kept out the child abuse, sexual allegations out of it. Um, it was good. I give it a 7 out of 10 because I wanted to see what did they had to talk about when it came to Diana Ross, right? Because since this movie been coming out, it's been grooming allegations and whispers and gossip that Diana did, and I want to deep dive into that too. And fuck you, Diana Ross. That's all I got to say. Of course, always fuck Joe Jackson. Coleman Domingo was like the boogeyman, and this was like almost like a horror biopic because it talks about his struggle breaking away from not his family, but mainly Joe and how he manipulates using family, right? I'm glad they dug into that. But it seemed more overpowering of the story. I also like how Lorenz Tate, which we know he was in it, he plays Barry Gordy, and I love that because they always had the power struggle. Because even though Joseph the daddy, Barry Gordy didn't play that shit. The same thing with Quincy Jones, when he got with Quincy Jones and created greatness with Off the Wall and Thriller. Um, with Quincy ain't play that shit either. Now I read interviews with Quincy talking about that or whatever, and they never interacted in the movie. But yeah, Quincy didn't play that shit. He know what he doing. He's a composer, a producer, all the things them. So yeah, the guy from I don't know his name. God forgive me, but I know him from Insecure. The light skinned guy from Insecure played Quincy Jones, which I loved. He was good at Quincy. A real laid back hippie, basically. That's what he looked like. A laid back, light skinned hippie who fuck white bitches. That's what I got from that, or whatever, which was perfect. I was hoping they would talk about the Wiz, cause he was still a teenager in that, and he fucked that up as the Scarecrow. Come on now, that's one of his greatest performances right there, being the Scarecrow on the Wiz. I wish we could have got a little snippet of that, like offset or whatever, but I realized they had to cut out the Diana part. They didn't have to, but they did. Um, I see why they didn't go to all the way through his life. Basically, after he left, completely left the family after the last date of the tour. That's how the movie end. It came to wrapped up like that. That how it end. This was basically during bad era where he was starting to lighten up a little bit. His skin, his complexion was lightening. They also talk about the Vigilito. That he had it on his in the folds of his arms and his wrists and stuff like that. That's where it started. Everybody knew about it in the family, and for a while he was using makeup. Dark his complexion makeup, and then I guess as it got worse, they used the white makeup. That's what. That's how they did it. They talk about him for the love of animals, how he was obsessed with Peter Pan, and he was just a child all his freaking life because he didn't have a childhood. He was on the road singing and dancing. He was, yeah, little James Brown basically, and talked about the cartoons he watched and how he loved James Brown. Nothing, Shanasha, Fred Astaire with the dancing and moving and stuff like that. I saw the Virgo in me when I was watching the Virgo in him, how detail oriented he is, and his creation process was really dope. And but I really want to see the Diana part. I think that's bothered me a little bit. I think they were too focused on Joseph. Like I said, he played like a boogeyman type thing of this biopic. He is it was played by Coleman Domingo, which I think he did a great job. And I remember in a Quincy Jones interview that he did talking about why you keep fucking up your face, why you keep doing this to your face, right? And he says, "Is it because of your dad? What's going on with your father and stuff like that?" And it is because in the movie he called a big nose. I was crying. Meanwhile, you got the big nose. This is where I get it from, nigga. Like I get it from you, Joe. Um, Nia Long played good as Katie, Catherine, right? Katie. Um, she's really soft spoken and calm. How they did her hairstyles or whatever. Honestly, I would love to have Ruth, Truth Ruth, the Oscar winning costume designer. I would love to have her a part of it. The director was good. Um, Antoine Fuqua or something like that. He is also the director of Train Today. He did really well. I loved how he did it. It was a little CGI bubbles, which is funny. They had llamas, he had giraffes and shit. Like he loved him some goddamn. They even had muscles because I remember the the snake he had. It was in there. Now, also, I know why um Janet was mad because she ain't in it. For some reason, I don't know if she got executive producer credit or something because the only one out of the kids they showed, out of the daughters they showed was Latoya, and it was and she was gorgeous too. Whoever the girl who played, I don't know her, who played Latoya, and I'm like, Latoya is not even the oldest. It's Reby. So why the hell they just got Latoya throughout the whole thing? She must have put up wrote some checks for this or whatever. I really don't know what Paris could be upset about in it because it's pretty much to me accurate, but I don't know. I'm not a Jackson, right? But they were okay with it. So it was all about him. So it wasn't even about your uncles or aunts either. So what was the part about it that was lies? Because it's almost a mirror to American Dream, which was better. I ain't gonna lie, American Dream is my shit. But the Jacksons' American Dream, like, what is the difference from that? Because it's playing out basically the same. The only part that we didn't know about was the nose job. He he decided to do a nose job on his own or whatever. He felt like it was too big for his face. And then he got it done again. It looked like cuz he had like a bandage over it later on, a couple of years later. But that was mainly because of Joe. So is that what part of it that you didn't like Paris Jackson? That's what I would like to know. Like I know you said you're going to go back and mind your fucking business, but I would like to actually hear from you. What was you didn't like about it? As far as Janet, I understand because she's not in it. And I remember them saying in both interviews, Janet in an interview and Michael in her own interview saying how close they were. Even though they wasn't close in age, they were close at one time. So why was she in there? And if she was, why did y'all decide to cut that out? Their relationship. Because those are the biggest stars, honestly, right? Janet and Michael. Michael and Janet. They're the biggest stars of the Jacksons. So, yeah. Overall, like I said, I give it a 7 out of 10. I did tear up a little bit because, like, this man have no business being dead. Just like Whitney ain't supposed to be dead, Luther ain't supposed to be dead, Prince ain't supposed to be dead. What is going on? And I saw a little part because I was just talking about did the Jacksons ever sue Pepsi? And it did. I never heard about it. All right, because that caused to his demise. He was in pain. He was in pain. He got hooked on them pain meds. You know, from They also did the Pepsi commercial where his hair was on fire and all this other stuff. And yeah, he did mention something about how much are we getting from Pepsi or something like that, and they said like seven. He said seven figures. So maybe he didn't sue because maybe Pepsi just went ahead and cut him a check. So yeah, they should have still sued him because Michael still be alive if he would have been hooked on them goddamn meds. Damn it. Um, but I think Michael would also give it a 7 out of 10 if he was here because he's very meticulous and he knows what he wants things to look like. And I don't think this was Michael's total vision. I think it was something more to it. But one thing for sure, um, he was played by a black man, which he said he wanted. I'm a black man. I want to be played by a black man. That's it. And that's something he wanted. And I'm always here for biopics that let the families agree to doing it. When the families and stuff is not involved, I usually don't want to watch it. I'm upset about it. Like, no, they ain't got no hand in it. But everyone seemed like they had a hand in it, even though Janet didn't like certain things when she saw the screening. And I agree with her with that. Paris, on the other hand, I don't know because you wasn't even thought about it from this timeline. Look like so, yeah. Um, so if you feel like this wasn't right, it was lies, it was inaccurate, do you feel the same way about American Dream? Because it's a mirror of each other. Even though, like I said, American Dream is better. So yeah. So congratulations to Jafar Jackson, Coleman Domingo, Nia Long, Lorenz Tate, the guy who played Quincy Jones. Oh, Mike Myers was in it. Also, which was a special appearance. That was pretty dope. I'm like, okay, Mike Myers getting a little, and he still got the acting chops. I love him. I love Mike Myers, and I'm glad that he was in it. Um, yeah, a 7 out of 10. I think people should go see it though. I think people should go see it because it's Michael Jackson. Are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck? We're gonna go see a Michael Jackson movie. It's not as bad as people were saying to me personally. 7 out of 10 is still a 7, right? So let's discuss. Did you go see Michael? And if you didn't, why not? Go check it out.